to, I've been using my phone lately instead of my computer, and you don't see
good.
all the buttons. Okay, thank you.
It's good.
Hi, I'm DeAnna Nunez. Welcome to the Wednesday night coaching call. All right, so as we jump in, when you are practicing self-hypnosis, the difference between meditation and self-hypnosis is this. Self-hypnosis is being receptive to the alpha and theta states of consciousness that exist in your mind on a regular, everyday basis, 24/7. You are utilizing what's already happening with your mind for your benefit. So constantly you are in a state of self-hypnosis. You go in and out of it anyway, similar to when you are driving across town and you don't even know, you don't remember the drive. You just all of a sudden arrive at your destination and you just drove a vehicle perhaps 40 to 70 miles an hour without being cognizant. Like, whoa. So that is an example of self-hypnosis because your subconscious mind took over. Your subconscious mind is driving the car because it's stored information. You know how to do it. And while your other part of your mind is off there dreamy, thinking about things, thinking about, you know, conjuring up things while you're driving. And so that's an example of self-hypnosis. So you do that on a regular basis. You also, with self-hypnosis, tend to recycle the same information, which could be negative stuff that you're recycling, worries, concerns, problems, and you're recycling it. So in a sense, you are programming your own subconscious, you are programming your own patterns on a regular basis with that same self-hypnosis recycling. So when you are practicing self-hypnosis in the way that I direct you in the book, what you're doing is you're creating expansion. You are connecting with your heart. You're connecting with that deeper part of you so that you can create a pattern interrupt in what your subconscious is already patterned. So you want to shift what those old patterns are. You want to provoke the subconscious to accept a new pattern, a beneficial pattern. Because think about it like this. When you have, let's give the example of exercise, because it's just such an easy example. If you have the pattern of exercise in your subconscious, you don't have to think about pushing yourself to go and do that. You just wake up, you just go do it, and it feels easy. Does everybody love that word? Easy. Everybody repeat that word. Exercise is easy. It feels easy. And maybe some days it's not as easy as others because you're tired or your muscles are sore or whatever. But the habit of it is easy. See what I mean? So yeah, it might be challenging on that day, but the habit of it, the consistency of it is easy because it's what you do. It's who you are. And it's in your subconscious that way. So that is an example of why you want to have this subconscious programming, if you will. We are not computers. So we're not like, you know, if we could just spit it out like a computer and be programmed, we would be like robots, you know, but we aren't robots. We are emotional beings. And our emotions are the very thing that can often throw us off track. So when you are thinking about what patterns you want to put into your subconscious mind, the very way that it gets to become a new pattern is in two ways: through repetition and through emotion. Your new repetition, you got to be excited about it, right? So if you're going to create a pattern, you're excited about creating that pattern. You are passionate about creating that pattern. You are deciding. You're deciding every day, like, you know what? That's the kind of person I want to be. I want to be somebody that exercises. I want to be somebody that eats well, that knows. I want to know how to feed myself so that I can maintain my natural ideal weight easily. And I promise you that I am not being dramatic. I am promising you that you actually can do this. I've been doing this for a number of years, kept the weight off. And before that, I was yo-yo dieter. Once I made these decisions and I started to just implement these things that I talk about, I absolutely have been able to maintain it. And so have my clients that have lost the weight. There's several women here that will tell you that they initially lost the weight and they've been able to maintain at least 80% of it. They've been able to keep it off. So these promises that are in here that you can start to practice self-hypnosis and let it be a tool that you use regularly, it is such an awesome thing that you just start to do it as a practice. So meditation is where you're just clearing your mind, and it feels so good because now you're letting go of any mental stress and you're able to just be at ease. That is what meditation does for you, and it helps you to be clear and let go of mental fog. But self-hypnosis has the same effects to your body, same effect to your physiology, but you're also using it to program your subconscious. You are communicating with your subconscious when you're using self-hypnosis. So self-hypnosis always has this little extra, everybody say extra, because there's always a goal attached to self-hypnosis. It's not just about clearing your mind, but about programming your mind, right? Giving you that affirmation that means something to you, that emotionalizes your goal. So I'm looking at the chats popping up, and Sarah is here with us too. She just jumped in and she's saying extra, exactly. So the very first chapter is all about laying the foundation of what it feels like and looks like for you to practice self-hypnosis on a regular basis. And I don't want to spend too much time going into that because of course you can order the book and then you'll have it there as a reference. But here's the very simple steps. Number one, create an eye fixation. You just pick something across the room to focus at, and you put your eyes there. What this does is it helps you to let go of any distractions. The second thing is you place your hand on your heart. When you place your hand on your heart, now you're getting connected. And this isn't always 100% necessary. Once you've really practiced hypnosis, you'll find that you can just you can do it with your eyes open, you can do it with your eyes down, but having this element, it helps you to get super connected to yourself, because we want to also make decisions from the heart and not just the head, because the head is very analytical, right? And we want to make decisions that actually mean something to us, because this is the truth. The goals that you set for your weight loss or for maintaining it wherever you're at, it really should be a goal that is it's more focused on your values than your goals. And so let me just clarify what that means. It means because I value my health, I then therefore choose to eat this meal that's healthy for me. Because I value having energy, I therefore then choose to go to bed without the snack tonight. Because I value how I want to feel tomorrow, I'm going to choose to have an apple slice instead of a big bowl of popcorn. Because I guarantee you the popcorn will make you feel bloated. It'll taste good going down, and that doesn't mean you don't have to ever eat popcorn again. Don't hear me say that, because that's not what I said, because I love popcorn. But I am saying it is something that has a ton of carbs, and it will just put on weight if it becomes a habit. And let me tell you, I only name the popcorn because people always do that. They'll say, I have my wine and my popcorn while I'm watching a movie. It's like, oh God, you will wake up looking like you're 4 months pregnant, even if you're a man. So men don't want to look 4 months pregnant either. And if you want to feel good, then that's why you're making those choices. So you're basing your goals on what you value. And when you place your hand on your heart, that's where you're tapped into your values versus your goals. Your goals always come from your analytical part of your mind, because that cognitive part of your mind says, ooh, I want that. And that's your judgment part of your brain. But your heart, it says, oh, but this is what I value. It has meaning. And where there is no meaning, there is no purpose. And where there is no purpose, there is no motivation. So if you don't have meaning as to why you're doing what you're doing, you will run out of motivation. Everybody hear that one loud and clear? Yeah, so it's got to have meaning to it and heart. So eye fixation, hand on your heart. The third thing is you start that deep breathing. So now your eyes are fixed. You're breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. And the breath is so symbolic because it shows you that to let something new in, via your breath, you've got to let out. You've got to let go. So you got to let go of something in order to let in something. And what I mean by that is, what are the other things that you want to let go of, right? What are the other things you want to let go of? Like, let go of resentments, let go of anger, let go of fear, let go of stress. There's always things that we can let go of when we choose. But this is the human condition, is that most of us, we hold on to things for way too long. We hold on to things way too long. What our dad said to us, what our mom said to us, what our wife or husband said to us, that's still in our head, and you're holding resentment over that. Let it go, because guess what? That right there is weight on your body. And I invite you to think of it like that, because absolutely, I've seen it time and time again, where when people are holding on to emotional stuff, they'll also hold on to weight. So it's good for you to let that stuff go and to be emotionally well, and to be able to breathe and symbolize that letting in and letting go process is beautiful. So eyes fixated, hand on the heart, nice, easy in breaths and out breaths, inhales and exhales. And then what you can do from there is you just count yourself down. I love for it to be easy, 5 down to 1. And think about it. Have you ever had surgery where they say, okay, start counting backwards from 100? And you're like, oh, please, I can do that. And then you don't even remember 97, right? You'll wake up 4 hours later when the surgery is over. This is kind of the same thing. So it's training your brain to let go, right? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And with each number that you count, you're breathing in, you're letting go, and you're just getting centered. You're getting focused. What you'll find is while you do this, you'll see that your eyes start burning. You'll see that they start getting heavy. You'll see that you have this urge to want to close them. Like, you'll feel this connection that you want to close your eyes down. And once you get there and you're into this beautiful, deeper space, you get to 1, you can either count yourself down 5 down to 1 again, and then do what's called progressive relaxation, where you then just start to relax every part of your body. So once you close your eyes down at 1, then you can go, okay, now I'm going to go even deeper. 5, my shoulders and my neck is now relaxing, loose, limp, and at ease. And when you say those words, you want to put meaning to the words, because whoever said sticks and stones don't break my bones, words will never hurt me, that's not true. Of course words have hurt you. Of course they have. And words can also propel you forward into your success. Words are that powerful. Words have meaning, and that's why we create affirmations. That's why we say beautiful things to people we love, because words do have such incredible meaning. When's the last time that you said something meaningful to someone you love, where you didn't just do a quick I love you, but you recognized and acknowledged them for something? You're like, hey, you know what? Thank you so much for washing the dishes today. I really appreciated that. And they're like, they'll go, yeah. And you're like, no. Like, look me in the eyes for a minute. Yeah, thank you. Seriously, I really appreciate that. And then you'll have a little moment there together. I promise you, try it. You'll have a moment. And same with your kids. You're like, no. Look at me. I love you. And they'll be like, I love you too, Mom. They'll feel it, right? So words have meaning. So when you get yourself down to that relaxed state, that's when you want to insert whatever affirmation that you're working on right then and there. And this can be something that is ongoing. Like, maybe you have an affirmation for reaching your ideal weight because you value your health. That could be like a long-term, more of a 90-day type of goal that you're working on every day, and you're wanting to implant it in your subconscious. Maybe you have an affirmation. I encourage you to get really specific, really specific with what that affirmation is, and don't make it broad. Because if you get specific with it, you will just, oh my gosh, you'll plant it in your mind and you'll start hearing it in your day. Like, I'll give you an example. If you say, because I value my health, I now choose to drink more and more water. Because I value my health, I now choose to drink more and more water. That's a really easy one, right? And I think of that automatically because Ruth Loh is here, and Ruth Loh sells good water. That's what she does, amongst other things. She has an amazing alkaline water system, you guys. If you're interested, you should reach out to her. It's awesome. So drinking more water, we know, is so important for your body because so many times we eat when we're actually just thirsty. It's true. Look it up, science. It shows us that so many times we feel what we think is hunger is actually just thirst. And so you're not drinking enough water, got to get that water in. And when you get your water in, there's so many things that happen. One, your hydration levels speed up your metabolism. Two, you feel less hungry because now you're giving your body what it actually needs. Three, your skin looks better. Four, you are actually just helping overall your metabolism. You'll sleep better. You will have better elimination. All of those things, because then the fiber that you're eating out of all your yummy vegetables that you're eating, now you're washing it out. So there's so many different stats on how water is effective for so many different things. Your body needs it. So hydration. So that's an affirmation that you could be sharing with yourself to create that pattern in your subconscious mind. And this doesn't have to take long, you guys. It can be just a few minutes every day. Maybe it's in your bed in the morning before you get out. And you're like, okay, I'm waking up. And then you just roll over on your back, place your hand on your heart, look up at the ceiling and put yourself right back down into that relaxed state. And it's a great time to do that because you just came out of that state. I'll share with you that the first 20 minutes when you go to sleep at night, you are traveling through those alpha theta states. So it's an amazing way to put yourself to sleep. And it's also when you're coming back up out of sleep, you don't realize it, but you're actually gradually waking up. You're not just going from a deep REM sleep to like awake, unless somebody's like, wake up, and it jolts you. But typically as you're rising, you are coming out of that state. Try it. And I'll give you an example, like with your alarm. If I set my alarm for a certain time and I go to sleep, I'll tell myself, and I always make it sure it's 7 hours. That's what I tell, 7 hours. I will always wake up like 2 minutes before my alarm even goes off. It's crazy. Like that's the power of your mind, because I've told myself I'm going to do that. And then I'll wake up before my alarm. And I trained myself to do that with hypnosis because I used to always have to get 8 hours sleep. And I found that I didn't have enough time in the day, and I really, really wanted to get my exercise in first thing in the morning so that I didn't have to like interfere with my family's schedule. And if I did it first thing in the morning, I could get my needs met and be so happy and be a better mom that when I come home and they're all still waking up, I've already got my workout in. And I trained myself to do that. And for years, I didn't do that before, but now I've kept that pretty solid for a number of years, and it works. So you can use self-hypnosis for all these different things, and that is your superpower. That is the the FIT method, is to focus inward and target. And so isn't it cool that everybody here that I'm looking at right now, all of you are going to value something different. All of you are going to have different situations of what your life is like every day, right? And so you don't want a cookie cutter plan. You want to create your own plan. You want to be able to tap into yourself and know what brings you joy, what brings you vitality, what brings you that feeling of awesomeness that you truly are living your best life. That is the FIT method. That is what Mind, Body, Fit Life is all about. So let's just pause there for a moment. Does anybody have any feedback that you want to share? Maybe you've tested this already. Maybe you have some questions about, what about this affirmation or that affirmation? Chime in. Who has anything that they would like to ask or share?
Yeah, what works for me, DeAnna, is in the nighttime, just before I go to bed, I sort of plan what I'm doing the next morning. So like if I tell myself, okay, I'm going to do like a 5-kilometer run tomorrow morning, and invariably I end up getting up and just doing it. I think it works better instead of when I wake up. It works better when I plan it the previous evening. Like you said, the last 20 minutes before you go to bed, that tends to work for the whole night. And I think that works very well for me.
Awesome. I love that. Yes. So you're already telling yourself what you're going to do because you decided the night before. You didn't decide in the morning. So I want you guys to notice that. That is an area where a lot of people can get thrown off, is if you're making the decision in the moment. A lot of times your mind will tell you, but I'm warm, but I'm so cozy right now. But I don't want to, it's cold outside, right? And then you're gonna listen to what your mind is already talking you out of. And so if you decide the night before that you're gonna do it no matter what, and we get that there's some variables in there. If there's like a sudden New York snowstorm or something, Stacy, I don't want you going out there. But if it's a flurry, oh my gosh, it's like bliss. Have you ever run in a flurry, Stacy? No, I'm watching your head nod. It is magnificent to run.
I've been in a hot tub though when it snows.
Of course you have. It is honestly such a blissful thing to go run in light snow. It's amazing. And I remember when I lived in the mountains, and I told my husband, I'm like, okay, I signed up for this event and I'm training, but now it's snowing and now I can't do it. And he was like, really, DeAnna, you can't do it? And I was like, well, now it's snowing, and now I gotta wait until this roads are clear and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, he looked up immediately, he Googled, he goes, Google Colorado. So look at running in Colorado. See what they do. Sure enough, there was a bunch of pictures of people running in Colorado in the snow. And I'm like, fine, okay. And I did it, and it felt so amazing. I could not believe how just beautiful and breathtaking it was. And so we can all learn to do things that we didn't know we could do. That's the beauty of this, getting out of your comfort zone and doing expanding yourself, just kind of letting yourself grow into experiencing new things. So anybody else have any thing you want to share or questions?
I do. This is Ruth. So I tell my children all the time, if you say you can't, guess what, you can't. But if you say you can, guess what, you can. So I think we just have to be aware of when we say I can't do something, because you're right. If you say it, you won't be able to do it. And just flip it to say that I can do this, and I'm going to figure out a way because I'm going to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I call it the I can miracle. Be the I can miracle. And you really can create miracles for yourself when you have that attitude. It's amazing what happens. And that came to me, I started saying that because my mom, when she passed away, she was full of the I can'ts, to your point, Ruth. I mean, oh my gosh. And I want to give her some grace and buffer some cushion in there and some love. She had fallen, she had a replacement in her shoulder. A shoulder replacement. She also had a hip replacement, and she was swimming and she was doing things, but she was a good at least 80 pounds overweight, and it just really hindered her. And that she was overweight before those things had happened. And so what I would tend to hear from her is she just, every time, whenever I was conversing with her, in a conversation, she would always say, well, I can't. And it's all she focused on. And I say that knowing that she had ailments, right? So we're giving her that, like I said, grace. I get it. There are things that sometimes you have to shift. Maybe you can't do what you could do, but you can do something. There is something new. And she would skip her swim classes all the time, and she'd be eating pastries, so she would add to the problem versus add to the solution. And I could hear it in her languaging, just how she would talk. So I think it's really important for us all to hear it in ourselves. And if you have friends that allow you to call them out, ask permission first, certainly. I have, with all of my best friends, I have 2 best friends. I say all, but I have a ton of besties. I consider all of you my friends. I have two very, very close friends that I've had for a long time, and they have full permission to like call me on my bullshit, right? So if I say something like, oh, I'm so frustrated and I just can't figure it out and blah, 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 they'll be like, DeAnna, what? Reverse. What'd you just say? And I'll be like, okay, yeah. I hear it. I'm aware of it. Thank you. And I always say, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yep, I got to reframe that. And so that's what we do, right? That's what we do. And when we could all give ourselves, each other here, permission to call each other out. I think it's really amazing accountability when you say, okay, y'all, everybody in here in this group, like, reach out to me, give me that, because we want that support, don't we? Right? We want that support. And when we know the other person wants it and we see them not doing it, it's usually just because like they're thrown off and they just need a little love, a little bit like, hey, how can I support you? Hey, what's going on? Do you need an ear for a minute to share? You gotta let something go, and then we move forward. So we keep extending ourselves compassion constantly through this process. Who else has got something to share?
Hey, DeAnna, it's Sarah. I just wanted to say thank you. And I officially got your book. Yay! And I'm super excited. But to add to what you were asking, when we did the exercise about reframing and creating my own affirmations, helping me do that, I really took in a lot from that, because those affirmations not only did they make a difference, but it also changed my language overall with other people that I hadn't noticed in the past. And just reiterating what you're saying, when you have those really good friends that sort of help you along with that, I was acknowledged and I was able to be that person for somebody else, and that was kind of nice. So I think having that ripple effect also helps others as well, but obviously it starts with us.
Absolutely. I love that. And Sarah and I did private coaching together. So that reframing came in super handy, right? I think of reframing, and I have reframing processes here in the book as well. So you always have it to refer to. I think reframing is one of the, and for anybody that doesn't know what that means, it's a psychology term where you take something that a perspective or something that you hear in your head over and over again, and you just change it around. You either change the words or you change the perspective on how you're choosing to look at it, and that's a mental reframe. And and it takes a little bit of, I think it's important that you sit down with yourself. In order to reframe something, first you do want to write down what it is that you're kind of struggling with. What are you wrestling with? Write it down, and then you look at it and go, okay, I can see how I'm kind of putting myself in a corner by thinking that way. And we never want to put ourselves in a corner or put ourselves in a prison with the door open, right? Because the door is always open. But sometimes we'll sit in there and pout. We're like, oh, I'm in prison. I'm so trapped. But you're not really, because the door is always open and it's your choice to come out. So when you sit down and you write it out and you can look at it objectively, if you're not objective with yourself, you won't be able to reframe. So that's really the first step to that, is kind of just stepping out and looking at yourself third person. And you're like, okay, I can see DeAnna, how you been doing that? How you been thinking? And then you want to, once you have the objective perspective, then you want to get back into yourself, back into your heart, because that's where it matters most. And it might require some forgiveness for yourself, for the other person that maybe you're having an issue with, that's causing you some angst. Typically, that's one of the things that throws us off. But you want to get checked back in with yourself, and you go, okay, from when I check in with myself and I have compassion for me and compassion for the other person, how would I reframe that? How can I look at that differently? And then you invite yourself to do that. My major reframe in the book that I put in there is when my mom told me that I'll never amount to anything. I've shared that from the stage many, many times. Alister, you might have heard it in the seminars on the cruise ship. She said that to me when I was 15 years old. And it was one of those things that, you can't take back, but you wish you didn't say. I'm sure that she felt that way. I think, maybe not. That's my perspective. But at the time, there was a lot of circumstances as to why she said that. But I didn't consider any of that as a 15-year-old. I didn't consider that I had made her angry or that I had scared her or whatever. She just said, you know, you will never amount to anything. And she was referring to, I was getting in some trouble at the time. I was doing things that were detrimental to my life. And I was like doing drugs and drinking with my friends and doing crazy stuff. And she saw me doing that and gave me judgment, right? And what I took from that was, I took it as truth. I mean, it just hit me so hard. And it was something that was stuck in my head for a very, very long time. Because again, what did I say a little while ago? Words have meaning. And especially when they come from someone that you love and that you have that connection with, or that is supposed to love you, it can really be painful. And I did a self-hypnosis process and I reframed it. I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to finally come to terms with that. And I'm going to say instead, I'm going to say, DeAnna, you amount to everything. So I went from, you will never amount to anything, to, DeAnna, you amount to everything. And it was just something, it was a gift that I gave myself, right? I needed to forgive her. I needed to forgive myself for holding on to it for way longer than I needed to. And I started to say it to myself in self-hypnosis, just like I'm sharing with you tonight. And I would just practice it. And I would just say it to myself. Sometimes I would cry like a baby. I almost want to cry right now just thinking about it, because it brings back those feelings of when I was in that transition. And it felt so good. And, you know, sometimes I would give myself a hug as I would say it. DeAnna, you amount to everything. Because it's a way of acknowledging yourself. So I invite you guys to do this work. It's completely incredible. It is life-changing, and it's also relationship-changing. So yes, we're talking about fitness and getting in shape, but if you have stressors in your life that knock you off of your fitness, you need to look at where the stressors are coming from and do these practices. And that's what makes us different. That's what makes my teachings different from any other fitness trainer. And I'm sure there's other people out there doing what I do. I don't want to make it seem like I'm probably the only one. But I know that is a difference maker that has been in my work for years. And that is what makes us be able to sustain weight, right? To be able to sustain it, to sustain a healthy weight, is, you know, how to go back and check in with yourself so you don't get thrown off on major life stuff that happens. And I'll leave you with this. When my mom died, it was so disheartening to me. That grief, it was hard. It's really, really hard. And I felt this urge, you guys, to just drink wine every day. Like, when it hurt, I'm like, where's that glass of wine? That's what my mind said to do. And because I know better, and here's the thing, I knew better because I do this work, right? I knew that wasn't going to solve the problem. But I also knew who I wanted to be. I knew how I wanted to be. And that's so important. And that's why I have these little bookmarks made that come with the book. It says, who do you want to be, on the front of this? Because when you get clear on who you want to be, ain't nothing's going to throw you off. So that doesn't mean it wasn't still hard, but it meant that I made choices that aligned with who I want to be, and I worked through the grief. And you guys, that's when I signed up to go run a 75-mile ultra marathon to get myself through that grief. And it worked. And you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. But I'm telling you, it is a change maker when you decide who you want to be and you really use these practices, because you will internalize all that you need to keep you on the right track. Think about how much you've internalized that isn't good for you, right? Let that go. Let that go. Let it turn over. Get your fitness on. Commit, commit, commit. So how many of you are committing to this lifestyle of mind, body, fit life? And you're like, I'm a lifer. I'm a lifer. You're committing to what this looks like for you to live your healthiest life, for you to, you know, decide who you want to be in living this healthy life. And yes, you're going to have moments that throw you off, but you know how to get right back on. How many of you are committed to this? I wanted to see it in the chat. I'm committed. Me, Sarah says me. She raised her little emoji hand. I want to see it rolling. I am committed, says Stacy. I'm committed with an exclamation mark. She's committed. Donna says, thank you, DeAnna. Teresa says, okay, I'll be committed. I love it. Alister, where are you at? Alister says, I am too. All right, I am too. I am also committed. Ruth says, I am committed, exclamation mark. I know that's so true for her. We're going to get Ruth sweating. I did yoga right before this session, and I was like sweating. Did a 30-minute core power yoga. It was so fun. I'm working on raising my commitment level. Okay, we'll go with that. You're allowed to have that, right? You're deciding. Let me ask you this, Donna, before we close. What is the what's the thing that's like the resistance that might get in the way?
Yeah, so laziness. So yeah, it's easy when you're in a routine to get up, exercise every morning, make sure you eat right, make sure you're doing the things you need to do. Once you start getting out of that routine and a couple days you're thinking, oh, okay, I worked out yesterday, I don't need to do it today. I was good yesterday, so today I can have my glass of wine. So, I mean, it's there. I know the difference, but it's making that commitment more often than finding excuses.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, that's just what it is, right? That's true for everybody. And I would say that make it easy on yourself to go still do the exercise, you know, remove the obstacles, remove whatever's in your way. And it could be just like, okay, I'm going to go out for a 10-minute walk because it's still something, and to have your wine. Nobody's saying you can't have your wine, Donna. You know, it's true, because you're not going to sustain it if you hit this so hard that it's like performance, performance, performance. You will get tired at some point and you will burn out. And that's true for all of us. And it's important to give yourself some cushion in between. It doesn't mean you're not committed if you don't exercise that day. But if you start letting days after another start to accumulate, yep, then you're going to get off track.
Then there's a problem. Yep.
Yep, that's true. So the other thing I would just have you kind of question yourself with is the need to. I know I need to. When you say it in those words, it makes me think, what else is going on, right? Because that means to me that it's an invitation for you to ask yourself why you actually value being healthy. Because if it feels like a need to, then it feels like somebody else cracking the whip on you and not your own commitment, right? When it's a need to, it's like, well, because my doctor said, yeah, well, because I know I need to, because it's what I have to do to be healthy, what I have to do. The need tos, the have tos, the shoulds, all of those things mean that you haven't actually decided why you value it. So I would encourage you to just go a little deeper with that one. You see where I'm going with that?
Yeah, good point. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh gosh, you're welcome. And thank you for being open to sharing. So Stacy says, I usually rebel against those. You know what? I hear about rebels all the time in this work. and let me tell you, I am a rebel too. I am a total rebel at heart. At Sarah's like, I am a rebel too. And I grew up being a rebel. And so nobody's going to tell me what to do. But here's the thing. That's exactly what I was just sharing with Donna. That just means that you haven't decided why you value it. right? Because you can be a rebel and still be disciplined. You're disciplined because you don't want to be like everybody else. You know, if you aren't a little bit of a rebel in this, doing this, you are going to follow all the other sheep. And guess what? Most of the other sheep are overweight and unhealthy, right? So America and Australia actually has really high obesity numbers right now. I was just looking at that the other day. Australia, I think they're up there like in the top 5 of the most obese nations. So, you know, this accounts for your environment too, right, Alister? But we don't want to be like everybody else because everybody else is complaining because they're not feeling good. And yet they continue to eat the things that everybody's eating and, you know, and laying on the couch watching Netflix too much. And let me tell you, I love to watch Netflix too. But at the same time, I value my health, so I want to get out there. So there is a balance, but the balance isn't 50-50. If you have a 50-50 balance, you won't actually have the results that you want.
Yeah.
Right? Your balance needs to be more like 80-20 or 90-10. Right? That's a balance too. Is that you're 100% committed 80% of the time. Everybody can do that. You're 100% committed 80% of the time. If you're 100% committed 100% of the time, there will be times you'll either be so rigid nobody will want to be around you, or you will be majorly thrown off, and then you'll find yourself in the all or nothing category, right?
Yeah, that's me. I usually find myself in the all or nothing category, so I need to reframe that train of thinking because it hasn't served me well the past 8 years. So.
And wouldn't everyone raise their hand and agree on that? Right? Totally. The all or nothing thing is absolutely, it's something a lot of people can relate with. And that's why it's on like the very first thing in my website. It says that. Do you fall into the all or nothing? It says that on my website because I get like so many people can relate with that. But that all or nothing does not serve us. And if we just keep talking about like, yes, I'm all or nothing, think about what you're saying to yourself. You're saying, I am all or nothing. Mm-hmm. You're telling yourself that. I am all or nothing. Okay, until now, can we just put a big pattern interrupt into there right now? Until now, start saying something differently to yourself. I am 100% committed 80% of the time. That's doable, right? All right. Yes, Sarah says, until now. So tonight, I didn't plan a hypnotherapy session, but I did want to just dive into really the foundation of what the self-hypnosis process is, the FIT method in my book, so that you guys would all have that. And I hope this has been a rich conversation of just what some of these elements are that can keep you on track. Is there anyone else that has anything you want to share before we say goodbye for today and then we meet up next Wednesday again?
As you know, DeAnna, I've been very committed with fitness, and you probably saw that on the ship as well. Yeah. But just the other day, I have this app which I've been, every time I go to the gym, I record what I do, how many push-ups and how many this and that and all that stuff. And so it gives you a lot, like a history every month, every year and all that stuff. Yeah. So I took all the times that I've used this app, and I checked to see what, how many times did I do what I did, and it came up to 25%. Although I'm 100% committed, I only did it 25%. I did 250 workouts in 1,000 days in 3 years. So just to let the others know, although you're 100% committed, you only need to succeed 25% of the time.
Yeah, because you still have maintained your weight, right? You lost all that weight.
Exactly. I'm not an Arnold Schwarzenegger as I would have really wanted to become, but at least
you don't want to be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I know that. I know that. Yeah, but that's how it works. So you just need to be 100% committed 80% of the time, like you said, and succeed 25% of the time, and you still achieve amazing things.
Yeah, I think that's so great. And we see you as the amazing Alister Fuller. Like, that's who we see you as.
Yeah, you can see.
Exactly. You don't have to be Arnold. You get to be you. I love
No,
that.
look. When I was young, I used to go to the gym, all right? And when I was about 19, 20, just to impress the girls and all that stuff, like, like all youngsters do. And I never succeeded. I kind of stopped. And now is actually my chance. And I'm really, and I really want to become an Arnold Schwarzenegger, but of course not to that level. But I just want to look good, and I think this is a great chance for me. And when I was young, I never had the chance, because now when I look back, my nutrition was very, very bad, because first and foremost, I was very, very poor, and I actually can't remember the taste of an egg. That's how we couldn't afford basic things when I was young, and even as a teenager too. So although I pushed a lot of weights, I was not putting on any muscle as such, because now in hindsight, I was not eating right. So yeah. Now I have everything that I need to achieve that, and I just need to get the mindset right and go for it. And I think I'm a better chance of achieving that now than when I was young. So just to let you know, yeah.
That's so true. Hey, Sarah's talking to you, Alister, in the chat. So check out the chat. Sarah's giving you some compliments. She's throwing down some compliments in there.
All right.
So make sure you say that. I want to see what she wrote. She says, Alister, your smile is the best thing you and anyone can start wearing. You already have that. Yay! That's so true. That's so true.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys, I want to send you off with a little self-growth work. I would love for you to practice what we talked about tonight is the FIT method, where you learn to practice self-hypnosis just for a couple minutes a day. And you put all those things together. Create some affirmations for yourself that you feel are very in line with what you value about your health or your habits. And if you need any help with that, if you like, you can always reach out to me. My email address is, write this out, DeAnna at DeAnnaNunez.com. So it's DeAnna at DeAnna Nunez, NUNEZ.com. That's my email address. You can always reach out to me and be like, hey, what do you think about my affirmations? I'm happy to look at them and send you a reply. I love conversing with you guys. Also, I invite any of you who aren't a part of Mind Body Fit Club to be a part of Mind Body Fit Club. Right now, we just kicked off a new 12-week round, and it started on Monday, but you're not too late. So you can always watch the replay and join in. We connect on Monday evenings at 5:30 Pacific time, 10:30 Australian time on Tuesday. Look how quick I am. But what we do in there is there's an entire online course that has the full 12 pillars of success of sustaining a healthy lifestyle. And it is so valuable because you have that course to always come back to. You'll own it for a lifetime, and you just log in. You like, maybe if you get off track, you're like, hey, I need to go check in with that again. It also comes with a whole suite of hypnotherapy audios. There's 13 different hypnosis sessions that are in that course. And it's available to you and to participate with us live. So if you're interested in that, you can also email, and I'll send you a link where you can sign up. If you haven't bought the book yet, reach out. If you go on my website and buy the book, I will sign it if it comes from me. And I'll send you a little bonus gift and throw one of those cute bookmarks in there for you as well. I also send you the ebook immediately. So while you're waiting for it to ship to you, you'll have access and you'll have the ebook version immediately. So I love you that you guys are here. I really appreciate your presence and your contribution. I love the collaborative effect that we have here, and that we'll meet back next Wednesday night. And when you come back next Wednesday, I would love for us to check in and see, okay, who practiced and what came of that? You know, who practiced and what came of that? And that you just give yourself some grace and try it out and see how it made you feel and what it made you do. Because we don't want to just feel good. We also want to do something with that. We want it to be actionable. When you're actionable, you'll make things happen. So Mind Body Fit Club, these are our 3 principles that we've lived by for a long time. And this is how I'll close. Desire, courage, action. Desire, courage, action. If you have the desire to be your healthiest, don't just think about it. You've got to have courage and take action. The courage piece comes with being willing to take a look at yourself, being willing to create that consistency, and being, just tapping into your own bravery to take a look at yourself and make decisions of who you want to be and how you want to be, right? And the last is, all of that happens when you take action. So thank you guys for being here, and I'll see you next Wednesday night. Invite your friends. Invite your friends next time. Let them know that you got something out of it. And if you are a social media person, right now, everybody wave and take a screenshot if you want to. Take a screenshot and then post it on your social media and let everybody know how awesome our experience was together tonight, and share this opportunity. And I appreciate you guys sharing. Thank you so much. I love you all. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Design your mind with what you need to succeed. Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Alister.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye, Sarah. Bye, Bonnie. Bye, Donna. Bye, everybody. Bye, Teresa.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you.